All right, good morning, everyone. I'd like to open this Polk County Board of Commissioners. It's November 8th. And extra agenda is on the back table, elections in full vote.
Yep.
And is all the week of Operation Green Light, saluting our veterans. So everybody, please take a look at the green lights on the courthouse in the evenings. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, no one's here on a Tuesday. They're Bender.
Need somebody.
Yeah, marginally.
Like for approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. State Homeland Security Grant Awards, Mr. Dean Bender.
Good morning, commissioners and my fans. We're back. It's like standing room only.
Dean's the audience killer. Dean's on the agenda. Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be boring. So I just wanted to come and give you an update on the Homeland Security grants that we applied for in the spring and give you the good news. And that is that we were successful in the 4 applications that the county submitted. There was one other application that was under the county package, but it came out of Independence. It was not funded, but I'll go through the projects that we submitted. Project 1 was for digital communication equipment. This is for more base station repeaters at the sites. That actually was our project number 1, and it was ranked in the competitive field as number 1 for the state. Our next project was a wildfire interoperability project, phase 2. This is one that we started last year buying multi-band mobile radios for our fire departments. And this was our phase 2, like I said. This project ranked number 3 across the entire state. The next project was, we called it the Tower Power Project. This was the new site that we are building up at, well, not building, but we're occupying, I guess, releasing property at Mount Pisgah right out of Dallas to improve the communications in this area. That project was ranked number 4 in the state. So we did very good there. And the last project that was funded was the non-competitive piece. I'm going to give a little background. The state broke up the grant. They had competitive and non-competitive. So every county had the opportunity to apply for projects under the non-competitive, and they were given a allotment of money. And that was that next project, and that was fully funded as well. Total, what Polk County received in the competitive side was $134,650. In a non-competitive, it was $48,999. And so probably the best that we've ever done for rankings. The number 2 project that we didn't get the number 2 slot, but that was actually a Homeland or the State Bomb Squad, which is probably of all the grants that are reviewed is probably the most truly state Homeland Security type grant. And that was a grant that was all the bomb squads, there's 4 of them in the state, all collaboratively applied, and that was ranked number 2. So anyway, out of the top 4, we had 3 of them. So I feel pretty good.
Polk County has its own bomb squad,
No,
or is this through the Salem?
yes, it's the same. So the state police has one, Salem has one.
Portland has one.
Portland and Eugene.
Yep.
And so it's on the east side. There's also some projects that Polk County was part of, signed on to, or just by nature, they were state projects that we actually benefit from. And that was the Oregon Preparedness Workshop. We set money aside for that project, which is basically a conference to bring all the counties together. And usually they fund like 3 members or 3 people from each county to go to this conference. And like I said, they set $125,000 aside for that project. The other one was the Ops Center, which is what we have to submit when there's a disaster or during COVID or anything else. When we ask for supplies or services, we do it through this Ops Center, and it pays for the funding of that to keep the maintenance up. Statewide COOP was the other one. That's the continuity of operations planning, which we use here at Polk County. Not fully, I'm trying to get more departments to do it, but it's time consuming and something you have to keep feeding. It's basically keeping your information up. We talked about it yesterday in our meeting a little bit, but it's a statewide system that we feed our information into. That way, if we had a disaster and say this building came crashing down, we'd be able to set up shop because we've already identified these are the things we need. We know how many phones we're going to need. These are the people we have, how many desks we'll need. So that software is what's paid for that $150,000. The last one was $302,000. That was for the Joint Bomb Squad. That was something that I believe Sheriff Garden put a support letter in for that project as well. And that project usually gets funded every year at different levels. But everybody in the committee, I actually represent Polk County on that committee. I don't get to review our own grants, but or we would be number 1, 2, and 3. I was just kidding. But yeah, everybody's agreeing that is probably the most important one of all of them, because that's a job that really nobody ever wants to do. And those guys are specialized and they're really good at it. So any questions about any of those? And then I have one other grant I'd like to talk about. It's not on your agenda there. It came across that since then. I'd like to talk about real quickly.
So is there a cutoff line in the ranking numbers?
Yes.
Again, you've got one here that made number 34. So I'm guessing that is below the line.
Yeah, and I didn't provide this to you, and I can send it to you. This is a list of all the different grants that were submitted to the state. I think that one was, I can tell you real quickly, I can find it on the list. That one ended up, okay, do it quickly, then I don't see the line now. Should you? I'll have to get back to you on that, but I can share this too with you. It shows you all the different projects. But I want to say it was like 20. I have my project. I guess I didn't.
What's the total bucket that's allowed above the line?
Above the line was roughly around 3.8 million, I think, is what was seed funding.
And this goes, just for the record, this goes once a year or twice a year?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah. So
that's a pretty small amount for a
yeah.
once a year grant process for Homeland
It
Security.
used to be very big. I mean, it used to be like 20 million, 18 million. When I first started, it's slowly ratcheted down. Now that I think Oregon gets the base allotment of, except the Portland metro area, that's a UASC area, they get another pot of money as well. So they get to partake in the competitive side, then they get their own pot of money on the other side to do stuff, as well as the tribe has tribal Homeland Security money that they get to tap into as well.
This doesn't count the state generated grant funds, correct? The OEM or
no. Yeah. So any other questions on this stuff? Okay, I am pleased to announce. Thank you.
Good job.
That back in, I think it was June, July, we put in for the SPIRE grant. Don't ask me what SPIRE stands for right now off the top of my head, but it's the equipment grant that we put in for a couple years ago. We didn't get anything out of it. I think the city of Dallas got a generator out of it, but it was basically, it's state-owned equipment that basically, or you apply for it. If you're successful in the grant, it gets basically issued to you. It still belongs to the state, but it houses in your community. There's been a lot of talk on how the right way of doing this grant. I totally don't support the way the state's doing it. I think it should be looking at the regions and going, okay, we should have X amount of equipment in the region 1, region 2, so every area has certain equipment. But they're not doing it that way. Everybody applies for it, and it could be anybody apply for it. It's a government type of agreement or a agency. But this last year, we did put in for a sandbagging machine again, and we are successful. We are going to get it. It'll probably be another year before we get it. But I know I've been wanting a sandbagging machine for 18 years. Well, I'll pay 18 years because every year we fill sandbags for somebody. There's the community service pre-fills them for us by hand, but now we'll have a machine that will be able to do them very quickly. This machine will be a regional piece of equipment. So if another county needed to use it, it belongs to the state, so they'd be able to, borrow it. But it would be housed here in Polk County. And if we have flooding going on, we will be filling bags.
So members of the
Hopefully-
public could come and fill bags and, oh,
So it should speed up the process a lot, and save people's backs. So Dallas actually got out of this grant too. They received something that the community talked about, and that was to get a fuel tank trailer. We can carry fuel to like power sites, things like that. Because we did find that in the ice storm that we had to transport fuel to a lot of our outlying towers.
are you doing that now without?
Right now, we have public works vehicles, got tanks in the back, and we
Okay.
go fill it up, and
Cool.
so it's a little time consuming because we have a 100-gallon tank, and Eagle Crest 100 gallons, and that's only a few hours. So, but so yeah, good news on the grant funds this year. And the next grant will be out in about another month and a half, so start all over again.
Well done.
Anyway, so that's all I have.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any non-listed items today?
No, sir.
That being said, meeting adjourned.